Hello, my name is Brianna Larrick, and I'm a Scientific Program Manager at the Institute for the Advancement of Food and Nutrition Sciences, also known as IFANS. It's my pleasure to introduce IFAN's updated guiding principles for funding food science and nutrition research. With limited availability of funds from federal agencies, non-government sources of funding, including from industry, play a critical role in advancing food and nutrition research. Recognizing that bias can present itself in a variety of ways in research by any sector, entity, or person, it is important that measures are in place to proactively prevent and minimize bias. These guiding principles serve as a tool that funding organizations can use to protect the integrity and credibility of research from the potential influence of funding source. The updated guiding principles build upon those that were originally published in 2009 to strengthen the guardrails that separate the funding from the science, to reflect the shift in the scientific community towards open science, and to provide greater transparency on interactions between the funder and the investigator. Although these guidelines are written for the context of public-private research relationships, they are applicable to research relationships between any sector. The guiding principles emphasize that research should be factual, transparent, and designed objectively, and not to favor a particular outcome. And importantly, that the scientific investigators have full control over their work, to include the study design, the research itself, and the interpretation of findings. They specify that remuneration based on the outcome of a research project should not be offered or accepted, and that the investigative team has an obligation to attempt to publish their research findings no matter the results. Moreover, the investigators should have the freedom to choose the most appropriate journal to which to submit their work. An important component of these guiding principles is that they emphasize transparency, requiring investigators to disclose all relevant relationships, financial or otherwise, in both publications and presentations of their work. They also prohibit undisclosed authorship or ghostwriting of scientific papers, and the guiding principles require that investigators guarantee accessibility of data and statistical analyses to peer reviewers, and important in this update, they encourage the practice of open science where possible, including depositing data and methodology on a public repository. The guiding principles require investigators to disclose all of their affiliations, and particularly when research is performed on behalf of a contract research organization. And finally, new in this edition, they emphasize greater transparency of the funder's involvement, if any, in the study design, the conduct of research, or the development of the manuscript. If the guiding principles are followed as intended, there should be little reason to dispute the results of industry-funded studies other than to debate the science itself. We hope the research community will strive to achieve this. For organizations wishing to leverage these guiding principles in their own research programs, as IFANS does, these principles can be posted on public-facing websites, incorporated into calls for research proposals, and included in written agreements between the funder and investigator. By doing this, organizations can make expectations in research relationships clear and enforceable. These updated guiding principles for funding food science and nutrition research have been published in the Journal of Nutrition. If you'd like to learn more about IFAN's work in scientific integrity, I encourage you to visit our website or contact us at integrity@ifans.org. Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us as we build towards a world where credible science drives evidence-based decision-making by all.